In this video, you'll learn how to make a coffee-rubbed tri-tip steak served on Fregola pasta with salsa verde and paired with Cabernet Sauvignon. This is part of our Paso Robles episode of Vino First, which is a wine and cooking show. So if you like this video, make sure to go watch the full episode. Okay, here we go. All right, listen, you don't need me to teach you how to grill a steak, okay? As long as you don't overcook a ribeye or a filet, you're gonna be fine. But we're gonna do something a little more involved today. We are gonna do a coffee rubbed tri-tip on Fregola pasta with salsa verde. So we're getting a little fancy. If you go to the central coast of California, tri-tip is the cut of choice. And because we're doing a Central California wine, I figured tri-tip will be a perfect match. Now, this is typically sold as a roast, even though it can be cooked as a steak. So it's about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. It's called a tri-tip, 1, 2, 3. You got your 3 points. It's fairly lean, but you can see some fat running through it. But the most important thing about this cut in particular is the grain, and that's the muscle fibers, and you can see the way it runs. In fact, if you flip it over, you can see it a little better. Now, the problem with this cut is the grain runs 2 ways. If you look here, it goes like this, and if you look here, it goes like this. And when we slice, we need to slice against the grain because we don't want to chew long strands of muscle. And once you cook this, it can be hard to see the grain. So what I prefer to do is cut right here. I'll have 2 basically mini steaks, right? And then it's easier to cut when it's time to serve. Before we put on the rub for the steak, let's put on the water for the pasta because that's gonna take a bit. This is Fregola pasta. These are little round balls from Sardinia, but you can sub this with acini di pepe or even couscous if you can't find it. Grab your pot of water, add a fair amount of salt, and 1 cup of our pasta once the water is boiling. While the pasta is cooking, we need a rub for our steak. Now, if you have a barbecue rub that you like, feel free to use it, but I'm gonna make a spiced coffee rub because I think that some of those notes in the rub are gonna bring out those same spice box notes that we have going on in the wine. Here's how to make it. 2 tablespoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of ground coffee, 1 tablespoon garlic powder, 1 tablespoon smoked paprika, 1 tablespoon black pepper, a 1/2 tablespoon crushed coriander, 1 teaspoon chili powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne. We want to rub our steak with kind of some vegetable oil or some neutral oil, and then we want to coat it pretty liberally with our rub. What this is going to do is put this great crusty char on the outside of the steak. At this point, we want to light our grill. In the meantime, our pasta is also done, so let's save a bit of our starch water, strain the rest, and keep this pot handy as we're going to use it later. Now we have to make our salsa verde. This is our topping for the steak, and it's great. It's fresh, it's got some acidity, some greenness. It'll help bring out some of the olive notes in the wine as well. So take a 1/4 cup extra virgin olive oil, a 1/4 cup red wine vinegar, about 10 olives roughly chopped. These are Castelvetranos. I love these. They're kind of buttery green olives. A tablespoon of capers, and about 1 cup or so of fresh herbs loosely chopped. Now I use pretty much a base of parsley mostly with a little mint and cilantro thrown in there. Mix it all together and let it sit. Okay, we're almost ready to grill, I promise. Last thing is to prep a few things for the pasta. 16 to 20 cherry tomatoes on skewers. Do 1 red onion sliced about 1/2 inch thick. Spray with some nonstick because it's going on the grill. And then 3 cloves of some garlic minced, and de-stem 2 to 4 sprigs of fresh thyme if you happen to have it. I know this seems like a lot of work, but now everything is prepped. So once we're done grilling and the steak is resting, we can come inside and finish our pasta and be all set to go. Let's head outside to grill. Throw everything on the grill: the onions, the cherry tomatoes, and the steaks. The onions and the tomatoes, the goal is to just flip once so we don't lose anything to the grill grates. About 5 minutes per side, then take them off. The steak is the opposite. Rather than grill marks, I want a nice even char. So don't be afraid to move this guy around a lot. These are gonna take some time, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. But don't rely on time, use a meat thermometer and take them off when the thickest part of the steak reaches 120 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, I'm back inside. While our steak rests for 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to finish our pasta. Start with a fair amount of olive oil on high heat. Chop our grilled onions and add that with the garlic and thyme in the pot for 2 to 3 minutes. About a quarter cup of red wine, and then let that reduce another 2 minutes. Finally, mix in our pasta, cherry tomatoes, a few splashes of our starch water to bind everything together, and salt if necessary. It's done when the pasta is cooked al dente. All right, the moment has arrived. We are ready to plate. Now, our steak has rested. Remember, we want to cut perpendicular to the meat against the grain. You got 2 steaks here. If you have a crowd, you can serve them both. If you want, you can save one for tomorrow and just cut the one tonight. You can see the grain going this way, so we are gonna cut this way. Look at that. Perfect. I am so happy right now. Nice, medium rare. If you like it a bit more well done, this will be a bit more well done on the edges. We're gonna go right here, give ourselves maybe 5-6 slices. Take our pasta and just do right down the middle there. This is our bed for the steak. Just layer it right on top there. Look at that. A little bit of our salsa verde. Finally, some finishing oil. Finishing salt. Black pepper. Voila. All right, and there we have it. Coffee rub tri-tip on Fregola with salsa verde. Let's give it a try. Oh yeah. That earthiness from the coffee rub mixed with the brightness, the greenness, the freshness of the salsa verde. The pasta gives it some body. Let's try it with the wine. Just perfect. The spice box character matching that coffee rub, the tannin structure and the weight of the wine standing up to the weight of the dish while still having that lift and freshness. Delicious. This is a match made in heaven. Tri-tip is a medium fatty cut of meat, so the medium tannins and the reciprocity Cabernet pair well. The medium plus bodied wine matches the weight of the moderately heavy dish. The acidity in the wine cuts through our acidic vinegar in the salsa verde and matches the salty meat. From a flavor standpoint, the spice box character in the wine matches the spiced coffee rub, the smoky grilled flavor, and olive flavor in the wine plays off the olives in the salsa verde. But the ripe berry fruit character and freshness also contrast the heavy grilled steak. And again, since tri-tip is such a classic California cut, it's another grows together, goes together situation.